Artem, I think we're live.
Yeah. I see it. Facebook sent me in the search of absolute that.
Yes.
Okay.
In the search for absolute truth, you must start with no assumptions, Artem.
Yeah. So what we will do? Should we wait a little bit? I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, let's start, man. We already got some people here. Got some thumbs up.
Okay. Nice. So
Yeah.
hi everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Artem, thank you for staying up late for us tonight. It's 10 p.m. in the Ukraine, correct?
Yes.
How was your day today? Is it snowing?
Yeah.
A little bit of snow?
Yeah.
So,
Winter time in Ukraine.
so everybody, English is not Artem's first language, and he's a little bit tentative about that.
Yeah, and I'll do my best to be understandable. But sometimes I can be, how to say this?
Well, I don't know many people on here that know Russian, so I'm sure we're all just admirable of that. Let me tell you that.
Okay.
So the first thing is I'm definitely going to be giving some dog side swag away today, so feel free to put some comments. I can see them right here. Excited to hear Artem in English. This is awesome. Darcy.
Hi, Darcy. Oh, by the way, let's check. Does everybody hear us very well? Yeah.
It
Let's
seems
check.
like
People.
it.
Yeah. Do you hear us? Both of us. Everything is right because we hear each other. But maybe is everything okay? People hear us or not?
It looks okay so far.
So maybe somebody leave a comment that you're hearing us, both of us.
Absolutely. That would be wonderful. Yeah, we got some thumbs up. They're hearing us.
Oh, okay, nice.
So Artem, why did we start to do this? What's our motivation here?
I guess we want to share our journeys, that's all.
Yeah. That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
So when did you start? Give me the background on Artem.
It's funny because it started 6 years ago. Remember I told you that we took our dog maybe January 14 or maybe 15 or maybe even 16. Some between of those days, 6 years ago, we took our dog from shelter.
Today, right? Or this week?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was January 16, but maybe 15 or maybe 14. But between of those days, we took Camila 6 years ago from the shelter.
Wow.
From local shelter, yeah. She already, I guess, being like 2 years old, something like that. Yeah. And then my journey began.
Yeah. What were you doing at that time?
Like, you mean what?
What work?
Life?
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked in sales almost whole of my life.
So a lot working with people.
Yeah, many people in my life.
Yeah.
To find out what they want, or maybe what they don't want, what they're running away off from. Yeah, so...
You listen to what they want and sell them what they actually need.
Yeah, not what I have, yeah, what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Doesn't it seem...
Yeah, and with... Huh?
No, it just always seems like there's that one dog or something that gets people into being a dog trainer or a dog walker. We have that one dog, and then the journey just
absolutely.
starts.
Like maybe for many, I don't know, is if any musicians here, like it can be one band which making us to play musical instruments. Like I heard Prodigy and I started playing drums.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the same with dogs. You know, there is a one dog which. But when I started doing it as my job also, yeah, I started to think. I've been obsessed about dogs way earlier. When I was a child, I hang out with Rottweilers, 2 Rottweilers that my friend had. So I really been obsessed with about dogs. My brother, cousin, he had Rottweiler also. So I hang out with his Rottweiler. We actually choose his puppy together. I read like big, I don't know, it's like book, encyclopedia in English. Do you have that word?
Yep.
So I read everything about Rottweilers there and said, okay, let's go choose your puppy. And we actually choose the puppy together with him. And I was like, I don't know, maybe 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had that passion to dogs from childhood. Just in my teenage, my life flow sent me to other directions, and then I come back 6 years ago, and Camila helped me to do this.
What's interesting to me that I don't hear much is you actually did education before. So like most people get a dog and then they want a dog. I want a Rottweiler. They see it and then they just go get it. And you actually took the time when it wasn't even your profession to research.
Yeah, I've been into. I still have. We didn't have money to buy that encyclopedia. I took it from the library and I wrote everything. I have like big piece of paper where there is 10 pages, I guess, and that little Artem wrote everything about Rottweilers there. I still keeping it. So funny, yeah.
So if anybody's looking for a Rottweiler, we know who to ask, right? You've done all the research.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this and you have that dog that started you on your journey, leave their name here. I'd love to know more, if they're particular, because I know I have it. Most of the young trainers I talk to, the older trainers, or different industries, they all have that dog that, like as Cesar Millan says, that we get the dog we need, not that we get the dog we need, not the dog we want. And, there's a lot of people that they get a dog and it just goes along wonderful and everything is great. And then, you get that dog that really changes your comfort zone. It changes the way you thought animals were. Mm-hmm. And it really, can send people down, a really magical path of self-growth. Because, it really, it's really a soul search. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about Camila, my dog Camila, she's a female. She never been hardcore dog. She have few things. She lunged at people, some type of people, like drunk people. She lunged at dogs, not some dogs. But she never had like big deal issues. But she been stray dog before she got into shelter. And when I took her, I did same things that most people do. I started to train in her. Like I took a piece of cheese and I taught her to do sit down, stay, and all of that stuff. But she did it only when I had cheese. When I didn't have cheese, she knew that she can exist without human help because she been stray dog. She have that knowledge. So it was a challenge to, to become the one.
To become the cheese.
But not the cheese, but, to become the one with whom she want to hang out without cheese.
Yeah.
Not just a source of the food, but like right now, having that knowledge, I can say as a pack member,
Yeah.
2 pack members as a pack. So I have a video on Instagram where I'm calling her and she just lying and sun is shining and I'm calling her. She looking at me and not going anywhere and I'm going backwards. she just bye. I'm hanging out.
Yeah.
Everything is good, and if you want to go somewhere, you can go. I'm not going. So this type of situations I had with her because she knew that she can rely on herself because she came from streets, from real life.
Yeah.
So this was challenge with her. That was the challenge with her for me. It wasn't some like hardcore aggression or something like that. I saw that she don't need me.
Yeah.
We don't have relationships where she need me.
Yeah.
where we have that bond on a level of like, I'm just looking at her, she's looking at me, and we understand each other.
Yeah.
We didn't have that, and it took time for me to change it. And actually, this is where I started to go to behavioral side. Like, there is behavior. It's like training, it's training, and behavior is behavior. Like tricks, sit down, stay. It's different. She knows it. But when I don't have leash or cheese, she don't want to do this.
Yeah. So let's not go down that. We'll save that for future episodes.
Yeah. Okay.
Today I wanted to really, with you, just give some context. For the people that follow you to kind of learn about me, for the people that follow me to kind of learn about you. We have a plethora of topics that we could talk about. You know that word plethora? It means a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of topics.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go down the comments a little bit. Our dear friend Kimberly, you know who she said, Gemma, right, has been her dog to help her on the journey. Michelle talks about a dog named Cake. That's a great name. One of my favorite food groups. And then one of our other friends, Joanna, is actually spending time with Kimberly in Atlanta, and she said Sumo has definitely been a big help to her on her journey. And then my friend Allison is talking about Moo. The dog definitely teaching her so much. Moo's an interesting cattle dog, which is always, a fun project. But he's also deaf, so that always adds another project. And then he learned some skills in his life that were early in his life that have not been helpful for him. So him and Allison have set out on that path over there in Kansas. So that's beautiful. My buddy Daniel. Oh, what's up, man? I think you're in Argentina still. All the way out in Argentina. Isn't this amazing, Artem, how we can get so many people from all over? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Internet have changed everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Camilla now versus Camilla then. What did Camilla teach you?
Good question.
I know.
Many things.
That's why I'm here.
Many things. Like, I can talk 24 hours and it will be not enough.
Was there anything that's led...
general thing that it's me, not her.
Yeah.
It's me, the one who brought her to my life. She didn't choose me. And she don't have that choice. She didn't have that choice. I just said, "Oh, we're taking that dog."
And she's like, there was no dating app at the time. Like, oh, hey, hold on a second. Let me see what his interests are. Right? Yeah. No, interesting.
Always me, no matter what. Like, we feeling good together, or like, have some troubles because she's doing something. But she's, in general, talking about her, she's come into my life already, I don't want to say perfect, but close to that. Because because of her temperament, and her experience in a real life at streets, being homeless dogs and communicating with everything night, being restricted, and she know how to be a dog without human. She already knew that.
Yeah.
Of course, those things, that consistency, tons of patience, observation. She told me to observe.
Oh, that's a good one. Yep.
Not do before, like doing, not to do first. Yeah, observe what's really happening. Like what she's saying to me.
Yeah, and the part, one of the things, like we were talking about, Brandon Fouche a little bit earlier. Whether you want to see it or not, you have to acknowledge that it's happening.
Yeah.
And that's really hard for people, especially, when he's at a high level of aggression. I mean, he's a specialist in aggression, the highest form of communication, he always says. I think that's one of the pieces that people miss, is that what their dog is doing, one, they might not want to see it, which affects them. And then two,
absolutely.
As a lot of horse trainers, Kimberly just shared that horse trainer, Joe Walters, with me, they have a reason for it. It's important to them. And figuring out that is, I think, a big piece of why dog behavior is so interesting to me, is really getting back into a touch with nature of what's important to them. What's the basics of it? Because they are totally happy with the basics of life.
Yeah.
I mean, food and water and shelter and safety, being able to make their own choices. I mean, the basics of life, the basic survival of life, they are thrilled if that's met. And I don't know many humans that are like that. We always want a little bit more car, a little newer computer, a little faster this, a little shinier that. So that's, from my journey, one of the things that I really had to come to grips with was understanding that I had, like you said, observe regardless of how I felt about it. I had to see it, because if you don't see it, like you were talking about the Matrix, you have to fight somebody to really see what's happening. And so often when people come to hang out and they see problems, they're always waiting for me to stop them. You're not going to stop that? I'm like, I don't know what I'm watching yet. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. That's really, Camille. I love watching her every day in your stories, because she knows what she wants.
Yeah.
She really does. And she lets everybody know it. Whether it's her comfy spot in the snow or to get in there and play a little bit. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah. Hold on. I have a question here.
Okay.
So Rachel, can you just rephrase it a little bit? The question is, what do you think of having dogs fixed in relationship to behavior? Do you mean, like, is it possible, or is it just, can you fine tune that a little bit for me? Because I think I kind of know what you said, but I don't want to make any assumptions, because you ask really good questions all the time on Instagram, so I want to make sure I get the full context. My mother-in-law says hi, and she said we're really handsome, Artem.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
She's got good taste, let me tell you.
Okay.
I don't know if you care, because you haven't asked me any questions. It's all about you, Artem. But for me, my first dog that I got into this, I just got done playing tennis. So I went from, a 24/7 living on a tennis court lifestyle to, sore knees and shoulders. And what do I do now with my life? My life was a lot of chasing around a little yellow ball and trying to control myself and staying fit. And which at the time I didn't realize how big of a skill set that was, especially like you're talking about with the observation part. I mean, a lot of what we used to do is play people in our minds, and we used to use that to better ourselves. So if I get to a tournament early or something, we were always taught to play the person in our mind. They have a huge serve. How would you adjust? Their slice backhand is really, really cutting and low. What would you do? And you start to find these holes in yourself. It's like, oh man, last time I played a guy like that, I really struggled. And then you knew the progression, because it wasn't linear. It's just like dog training. It's not linear. You go up, you go down. Yeah. Other things are affecting your life. And we had an ill dog that I got as an impulse in college. All the wrong things. My parents would never let me have a dog my whole life. No dogs. I was never going to walk.
Same for me.
I was never going to walk the dog, apparently. But my second career after tennis was a dog walking business. You watching, Mom? But yeah, we got this little Shih Tzu, and she was a terror in a good way. Just tons of spunk. And then all of a sudden, she just got really fearful. People would come over, and she'd run upstairs and go under the bed. And my mother-in-law at the time had just, said, "You ever watch this guy on TV, Cesar Millan?" So I started watching it, and like you said, I started to realize, wait, this is something I can control. It's not just some genetic fluke, and I'm sitting here as a victim. I actually have choices in this matter.
Yeah.
And so I hired a person that went to one of his apprentices had started a school. So she had gone there and came out and helped me a little bit. And, I started helping my dog and then, another dog. And then all of a sudden, I have a dog walking business in New Jersey and a van, and I'm taking 20 to 30 dogs out a day. And now I'm hiring an assistant. And it just snowballed into something I wasn't really, kind of got out of the way from me really fast. And then my biological father had gotten really sick, and that's how I ended up with Jake, which has changed my life. I mean, I can get really emotional. I'm going to try not to talking about him, but man, that guy has changed my life with anger. Man, I always tell people I can't go into Jake's full story because he's got some skeletons in his closet, but he's getting up in age, so that whole story can come out. But yeah, I mean, I've ran the gamut with him. I mean, he's been my I'd say 10-year journey. He's probably like 12 now. My 10-year journey of everything from positive reinforcement to balance training, e-collars, place work. Man, I mean, everything that I thought professionals would tell me to solve the problem. And it never worked. It really never worked. And I'm a pretty good student. I don't half-ass. I mean, if you ask my wife, my whole house is a photography studio. I mean, I go all in on things that I do. And I'm sad to admit it, but I'm going to. I've done some horrible things to that dog, emotionally, physically, because I just could not figure out why his job every single day was to get up and ruin my life. Why do you want to bite people, man? Why do you want to do all of these things that are not helpful? And, like we had just said a few minutes ago, after, if I knew now what I knew then, it wasn't that big of a problem. But it was something I don't know if I would have been ready to do. To take that fear. And this is why I'm so compassionate to the people I work with and this is one of the topics we had talked about on leash, when people are having leash aggression, most often we're telling them, go to the dog park, go do something where it's off leash. And people are like, don't you understand? My dog wants to kill every dog. And and trying to get them to understand the reason your dog wants to kill every dog is this. And ultimately, it's fear, it's anxiety, it's, imagination about what's going to happen, the previous experiences, the past.
Yeah.
Very little of it has to do with what's happening right now in this moment.
Yeah.
Is aggression happening right now? Perfect. Then we're good to go. But when our mind goes forward into the imagination, goes back to the past, that's when all suffering happens. So, I mean, he bit 6 people before I had him. And then when I was starting this journey, he bit 3 people.
Nice.
Jumped out of my nice. Good for him, man. He knew what he wanted, man. He jumped out of my van and chased a landscaper down the street. I was biking a dog as I was getting ready to drop them off. Artem, look, the window was like this far down. I'm telling you, there's no way a corgi could have got out of that thing. And that son of a bitch, I saw the guy high stepping, and I'm like, oh no. Got the guy right on the ankle. Got my cousin. When we got Lily, he pushed the door open, ran out, got a kid on the back of the leg. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I just did not know. and it got so scary. And it's just so interesting to think about that now. I never think about him being a problem, ever. I walk him down the street, and it's amazing, that piece of me that's just gone. That worry, that concern, that what's going to happen. Because, part of it, like you said, is I took responsibility. Like, I'm the one that's in charge of what's going to happen by choosing you. My brother drove this dog up from Florida, and it was like, here's this dog that's bit everybody, and Dad's going in the hospital. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, that was a very interesting journey.
You never knew that it will be so fun, yeah. When he brought him.
No, my wife and I had an option for a book about him. We haven't really talked about that much because we literally almost got divorced when he came because I had multiple people that wanted to adopt him. My plan was to keep him and adopt him. Like, I didn't want to keep this dog. I had no plans. And I'll never forget when a couple families came out and they started to talk about the things they were going to do, and it scared me. And I was like, I'm sending this dog to a death sentence. Like, it's so much responsibility. I felt that he's going to be in a home and something could happen. And I just wasn't qualified. And I knew how to manage it. He wasn't biting me or my wife or, certain people. So it was, it was interesting, that journey with him. And it still is. Every day he teaches me something. How to just be a little bit more like a dog. I mean, you know that when you're...
Yeah.
Hold on one second. We got this... let me see. Most of Artem's dogs are not fixed. Oh, so somebody wanted to know about that, Artem. Is spay and neutering very big in the Ukraine? Somebody was noticing in one of your videos, it seemed like a lot of the dogs weren't spayed and neutered. Is that something popular, or how do you...
There is no law about it.
Oh, okay.
That everybody should spay and neuter their dogs, especially about pet dogs, because we have also many of stray dogs. So stray dogs, like government and volunteers trying to spay and neuter them. Some of them are. But if we're talking about pet dogs, which one live at houses, it only depends from the owner if you want to do this or not. There is no law that's saying you should do this if you're like not a breeder. No, we don't have that law. It's many things that very different from US.
Yeah. Here. Do all the dogs from the shelters get fixed, or do they just come in a certain way?
You mean by saying fixed? What do you mean?
So in the United States, it's nearly impossible to get a dog from the shelter that's not spit.
Oh yeah, here the same here.
Oh, okay. So
people who work in shelters, not especially if it's pure breed dog, nobody. For example, in the beginning of my journey, I started to visit that shelter from which one we took Camilla. And my second friend was human aggressive Sharpei, which one actually should be euthanized. But I asked them not to do this because I will be coming to him and like walking him at least every day. So yeah, those dogs, it was Sharpei, I remember Rottweiler, they all been spayed.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And dogs without breed also.
Yeah. So on here is my friend Tina Madden, who was the person I'll never forget. I think it was, what's the name of that sushi joint, Tina? All our relationship has to do with food, sushi mostly. Her watching me eat way too much sushi. She can put some away too, but it's usually one more roll. She's like, what? But she's the one I could thank for introducing me to Brandon. When I was when I was getting ready to move down from Napa to LA for my wife, who's a screenwriter, and she had projects, she said, you want to take your dog information to the next level, the way I wanted. I mean, that's the thing I can't say enough. You have to want what I want People get defensive about this and that. Dude, I get it. If you're a sport dog trainer, if your dog is a search and rescue dog, if your dog has a legitimate job, something to do, there is a need to train in a certain way. And I am not a fool, right? I don't believe that you're going to be able to do X and get Y. It's just not going to happen. But so I'm leaving the sport dog world, and I'm happy. I mean, I've had one of the best educations.
Can I stop you here for a second?
Anytime.
This is what I'm like. What make me feel a little bit crazy when I thinking about it, that you actually came from that type of. You've been in Michael Ellis School. Nothing wrong with Michael Ellis School.
No. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm saying that you've been so far from where you right now.
Yeah.
And you tried all of that, and you found what you're doing right now. Seeking, the name of that conversation. Yeah. It's always make me fascinating about you, because I guess. I don't know if I get into Michael Ellis School, for example, will I be able to go forward and seek for the truth? Because working with guys like he's doing that type of professional stuff with the dogs can be okay, I already found everything. I know everything.
If you want a certain thing, I mean, we had handlers from Australia that worked in special forces. We had Canadian search and rescue teams. We had, top AKC obedience, world-class Mondio ring and French ring and Schutzen and IPO, same thing. We had people at the top of their game coming to get more education. And that's what was always so fascinating for me is I worked hard, but in a way, I'm so appreciative for never having to stumble. I mean, in my whole journey, whether it's been tennis, dogs, I've never gone down a path of bad information. Maybe a little bit in the beginning, but not so far down where I had already drawn a line in the sand and this is the way it is. And, if you want a certain type of dog, then there is no better people in the world than Michael, Ivan Balabanov, Bart Ballone. Yeah. I mean, these people are unbelievable trainers for skills. Holy shit. I mean, it's the things I've watched Michael do and fix a problem is just oh my God. One in particular was really interesting. This dog was biting all over on the sleeve. And Michael said, I guarantee you your handler moves around too much. And the dog wasn't jumping. So he put a jump in front of it, which made the dog commit because he had to leave the ground. But he was scared to leave the ground because the thing always moved, because the handler wasn't good. He wasn't staying there. He didn't know how to use his body to properly rotate out of the catch. So, it was just fascinating. It's like Brandon, the simplicity of it's just this. Where, I've been around and I've watched other people and they just make it way overcomplicated and all of these things. It's been, beautiful to watch because that to me was the truth. How to learn good tracking skills, how to get a dog to run back and forth in search and rescue, how to teach outs and how to really, get a dog to think. And one of the things I always loved about Michael is he was a big teacher, man. He was an unbelievable teacher, still is an unbelievable teacher.
I watch a lot of his videos that able on YouTube.
I mean, I could watch something from outside, bring it back, and he could explain it like no other. I mean, the guy is just, unbelievable. And everything that I do daily, there's some piece of it that I learned there that makes sense. Even if it's not something that I want to do right now, or I'm trying to maybe get a different outcome, I still, that education has gotten me to a place now where I can I can explain, like, you know, one of the things I see a lot of remote collar trainers, you know, whatever, they, you know, they use it inappropriately, and it's not my opinion. It's based on scientific fact, you know, overshadowing, giving commands and using, you know, multiple stimulants at the same time. I watch horrible clicker training. I watched the video the other day. It just kind of scrolled up where the person's clicking, giving the food, and then saying something. That defeats the whole purpose of the clicker. The whole point of the clicker is to stay out of the interaction between the appropriate behavior. It's for it to be consistent. It's supposed to be a very specific sound. So the person's clicking, giving the food, and then saying good. And that's
crazy timing, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great example for me is how we can't stay out of the process. We can't stay out of it. We want to give our dog something so bad, whether it's affection, whether it's something, that we can't even do clicker training right. In a way, it's click, food, click, food, click, food, right? That's classical conditioning, not click, food, yay, good boy. That's not clicker training. That's not clicker training. If anything, it can be distracting because then the dog gets excited and then you have to go back again. I mean, it was just really fascinating. And you know, again, all of this information is in my brain. I don't get to use it in the sport dog world as much. And, you know, I only have a piece.
What's interesting, this is the thing that you explained right now. It's actually how problem being created in a training, like not right reinforcement voice when it's only just need to be a clicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, interaction create problem, but we're looking for the solutions to fix that. No. First of all, we need to stop saying good boy and clicking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just clicking it. That's all, yeah?
Because then what is the good boy? What's the conditioned part? I mean, it's called classical conditioning, not multiple noises, here's some food. It's a specific sound that creates an involuntary response. And involuntary is the key part, you know, and so, you know, anyway, yeah. So, I mean, it's been interesting. So she said it's Hama sushi, great sushi. We went there. We have to go there again, Tina. But yeah, I mean, it's, and it for me, I went full circle. I started walking dogs in the woods in New Jersey. And then, like you said, I started watching videos and I'm like, oh my God, dogs are amazing creatures. They can do amazing tasks and we need them to do amazing tasks. You know, would you want to walk on a minefield? Or would you rather have a dog that has this, you know, 400 million times the scent ability that we do to find mines? Well, there's people out there that have to teach them how to do that, and Michael's one of them. So, you know, there's absolutely skill sets that, you know, that change our life. It's so important. You know, and I just, you know, I just, you know, for where my heart was, I just, you know, wanted to do something a little different. And then, you know, I was just talking with, you know, Tina that one day over sushi, and then, you know, I think we had been driving around a lot. I don't remember where I was. And then I just started digesting, you know, all of Brandon's podcasts and then living on his YouTube videos, which we both still do in Telegram. I mean, that's, you know, that's, there's not a day or a week that goes by that there's not at least 15 or 20 video posts from Artem mostly of some type of thing that we both have talked about and then are looking at it completely different now. Like, oh shit, that's what I thought it meant last year. Now it means something completely different. I actually kind of know what he's talking about.
Yeah, every time I watch his videos, I say, yeah. And this is like big amount of watching that video before.
Yeah.
And every time it's like, whoa, so he meant this. Oh, there is also that information there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question to you. So what was the reason that you decided to move forward? Like, what was the reason that you feel, I guess, not fulfilled and you didn't have that sense that you found something that helping you to understand dogs more? So why you went from sport dog training to the things that you're doing right now? What was the reason? Like, you, in general, you wanted to understand them more, or maybe you wanted to be rehabilitator, like rehabilitated the
Yeah.
dogs. So what was the reason?
Ooh,
Because you already been
yeah.
around dogs and
Yeah.
in a very good spot in Michael Ellis
Oh,
School.
yeah.
So why you decided to go to that direction?
Honestly, this is a very tricky question.
Like honestly,
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah. Well, you know, when anybody says honestly, they're lying. Isn't that what people usually say?
Yeah.
The people.
Okay.
Not the people that I personally was around, but when I would go to events and go to training sessions, when they would bring, you know, other decoys in and things, I just could not stand the way people were treating their dogs. And the amount of ego that was involved with, you know, my dog has to do, it was like kids, man. Like your kid's in the, you know, accelerated math class and mine's not. Or,
Yeah,
you know,
Mike is the best.
yeah, and it just, it really just got to me after a while watching people do things to their dogs regardless of how the dog felt, not even caring. It was just like a robot. And, you know, and I've talked to a lot of my friends recently who feel the same way. It's really, a lot of people have dipped off in it because it's not like a fun family sport. It can be, but then don't expect to do well. It's going to be, you know, it's, and yeah, I just didn't really enjoy the camaraderie of it, I would say. Where now, you know, I look at you and Kim and Teresa, Joanna. I mean, I can name Rachel, Al. I mean, I could name every person that's on here that has made me a better person by asking a question, by not making me, by the things I want to do, not the things I don't want to do, which is part of an education also, looking at something and go, yeah, it's not for me. So that, you know, that to me mostly, it had, and then the things I was just feeling inside, I just love nature, man. Look at me. I'm like a big, you know, hairy beast. I mean, I love nature and outside and understanding, you know, why does a cricket make noise at night? I mean, why are the birds not flying today when it's raining? I just have general interest in that. So for me, it was, you know, getting more into the dog making choices versus learning a skill set. And, you know, that's for me, again, like I'm not anti anything. I mean, I am not anti anything. Some of my greatest friends when I was training there graduated from Karen Pryor's, you know, school of positive reinforcement. We had people that used all kinds of different things. We had people that I wanted to punch in the face because of what they were doing to the dogs, and sometimes I would yell at them and tell them to get the hell out of here because that's not something we believe in. And but you know, it's I again, it comes down to that. I don't have a side. I don't have a 10-week e-course book newsletter thing to sign people up for to roll them into some monetization plan. Like I just want the truth. I want dogs. As Brandon always says, dogs have to be werewolves. They have to be half human. They have to be half human, half dog, right? They have to be able to think like a dog in a human world. And that really fascinates me. And also
being a dog in a human world, walking on leash, big deal. Just that.
Big deal. And we treat it like it's nothing. You know, I watched the guy the other day. It was really fascinating. Like, walk up to my street corner, ask his dog to sit, correct his dog on a pinch collar, ask his dog to sit. He didn't. So then he pulled up. Then the dog sat, and then the dog drug him down the street. To me, that's not truth. Like, how long has this been happening, number one? Are you happy with it? Why do you, like, I just want to know truth. I don't want to be, like, tiptoeing around a bunch of bullshit. I just don't have time for that, so.
And, you know, I guess many people doing this just because they believe in it.
And, you know, that's that Sadhguru thing. Beliefs get you nowhere closer to the truth.
Yeah. And it's something because we already 1 hour.
Yeah. 45 minutes.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
45.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we've been live for 44. We were talking for a few minutes.
Okay.
Before.
Maybe let's
Yeah.
let's ask people. Do they have any questions?
Yeah.
Like, if anybody have any question.
Yeah. And part
Let's
of
try.
I think both of our goals with this is not
Okay. You're not finished.
Yeah. Well, I'm just as in case people have questions. I just wanted to give a second. It's like I think part of our goal with this conversation that we're going to have consistently is I don't want to solve like why your dog particularly pulls on his leash, because I think it's a greater consciousness than that. I think if you tune in every time we go live, if you follow Artem on Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, if you go to our YouTube channels, you can easily figure out why your dog pulls on leash. And figuring out why your dog pulls on leash is way more powerful than how to stop it. Because even if I tell you how to stop it, there's a good chance you're still doing those things every day that are going to continue to cause that problem. And to me, that's animal abuse. I want my problem to stop. So you give the person a solution, and then they continue to do what they do. So you're the one creating the problem by doing what you're doing as the human, yet you want me to tell you how to stop the problem. And I think there needs to be some responsibility there. So that's, I think that's part of what, we want to talk about bigger concepts in society and the things that, socialization is a huge one. It's one of the things Brandon preaches constantly, that, socialization and not training. Socialization makes sense to a dog. Dog training, as Brandon says, is just teaching your dog to do something they already know how to do, but would be doing it for a different reason. Every dog knows how to sit. But did you ever think about why your dog sits? Why? Why am I sitting right now? Because it's way easier than standing. Why are you sitting? Because we're resting. But
for example, that gentleman that you saw with the dog who made him sit before they crossed the road. So interesting how homeless dogs that you also have in LA, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Crossing that street without making that butt to sit before going.
Yeah.
But crossing without any troubles with cars, yeah?
I watched one today. I was walking.
Yeah.
I honestly felt like the dog knew there was a stop sign there. Because the dog was coming down the street, and there was a car coming, and he just went to the end of the street, maybe like a half a second, smelled something, and then just kind of went. And I've seen that dog around a lot. I don't know if he gets out from a house. It's very popular around here for dogs to get out and then get back in. But so you'll see him for a couple days and then not. But yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, Anyway, so I figured I would just go through some of the topics that we were talking about. One of the things I know we want to talk about: what makes a homeless dog's life different. What's going on for them versus a dog that's behind barriers and fences. Popular misconceptions for dog owners. I had a friend at the tennis club the other day said to me, "Yeah, I think we're going to get a dog now because my wife's going to be home for 2 weeks, and we can train him before we go back to work." And I was like, I said, "That's a very good topic for our talk because." You have a 13-year-old daughter. Did you train her in 2 weeks? She's going to be 16 one day. It's going to be a whole new set of problems. Positions on walking. What is next to you versus behind you versus in front of you mean?
So this is what we will be talking about in next, yeah?
Yeah, just some of the topics I think. I want bigger concepts. I mean, if people have individual questions, it's great. I mean, I honestly think they're just that dialogue of asking people and then having them respond helps. But so many of these types of things that people do are just about like little Band-Aids. And I'm not into Band-Aids. Band-Aids just, are just stop it for like a little bit. I want to take care of the actual infection. What's the actual problem here? I don't want to just put a couple stitches in it. I want to figure out what's the actual infection. Claiming. That's a lot of something I get a lot of questions of is, does your dog understand when things are yours, theirs, and all of ours? And I think that's been really powerful for a lot of my clients out on walks to just be able to say, that's mine. And the dog does what he's supposed to do, which is move away. And then you don't have a problem with your dog lunging at people. If something's yours, they should know what to do with their brain and their feet. Yeah. One of the real popular ones for me is going to be big box stores, PetSmart. Do you have PetSmarts and things like that in Ukraine?
No, but we have a lot of stores with all of that same stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I would like to talk a lot about. Anything else, Artem? Like I said, we just both wanted to kind of get a feeler out.
Maybe like, how to say it? So, as we talked about it before going live, like one of the purpose is to make people think differently. Because do you remember we talked about it a few days ago? Like for most people, I'm not saying for whole, but for most people, like dog problem training.
Yeah.
So they not even think that there is something else, and there is something that existing without Artem or Gary behavior, natural behavior, which one we should be able to understand and communicate with, so then we can fix behavioral problems.
Yeah.
So for the most people, they think they have that, and I had it. I had it also, not an exception. So because around the world, that conception appeared that dogs mean dog training. If you want dog to behave, you should do dog training.
Yeah.
Nothing bad with the dog training, but if you're talking about behavior, we should understand behavior. Like if I want to understand in English kangaroo, that animal from Australia, kangaroo. So I will not try in kangaroo to sit. I will try to figure out how to be around kangaroo, and I will try to understand their behavior. I will not teach that kangaroo anything.
You won't just jump in the cage with them and start petting them?
Around the neck, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is in generally about which topics we will go into specifics, but in general we will be talking about that.
Yeah, this bigger concept. So somebody asked, how did we meet? Do you remember?
Interesting that I made investigation. Because
don't you point at me.
I wrote what?
So don't you point at me.
Let me tell this because
I
wrote you how to say it. I am the one who wrote you first.
Uh-huh.
So, and how it happened, on a Facebook group, I found a post about Brendan Fouché, and I always been and still obsessive about new source of information to check if there is anything new and really helpful. So this is what happened when I saw that post. I went to it was, I guess, linked to one of his interview. I went to YouTube, started watching him, and then I found interview with you, where you and Brandon sitting and talking.
Yep.
And so I said, this guy, I need to find him on Facebook. Yeah. So I found you, but we already been in friends.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know how.
At whom?
Yeah.
Yeah, like three months before.
Okay.
I started. I sent 3 months before I sent you first message. We already been friends 3 months before that. So yeah, this is how we met, and I wrote you once. You answered me. I wrote you twice. So this is how we started back and forth. Then I had a few questions about one specific dog. You helped me. Yeah. You explained me some, and this is how we started.
I always tell people, people don't think that I'm serious. When I say, if you send me a question, I will absolutely answer it. How many times did I talk to you on the phone? We were Skyping. Like, I'm not in this for the money, my man. Like not
Yeah.
many people
Yeah.
get into the dog business, saving dogs' lives to make $1 million. I mean, it's just, that doesn't mean you can't. I'm just saying, like, most people aren't doing it to get rich. I mean, honestly, I just want to hear people stop saying, I love my dog, but, like, that drives me crazy. But they do that one thing that I really hate, and I'm just like, anyway. So some of these questions I'll put down for later, Artem, because I don't want to get, we could talk for 2 hours, this was supposed to be 15 or 20 minutes, but somebody wanted to know about
already 1 hour.
Yeah, somebody wanted to talk about toy play in your area. If it's as popular to play with toys and that kind of
stuff. It's very popular.
Yeah,
it's very popular.
Okay, so we can talk more about that.
Yeah.
Do people baby their dogs as much in the United States as they do in the Ukraine?
Same thing.
Okay. Michelle, thank you. She loves our topics. Can't wait. No Band-Aids. They're not good for anything. We have a question here about humping. I will stop the dog if the dog's being mounted or humped is feeling fearful. I also will stop it if the dog is not allowing the other dog to socialize. I want to only step in on things if necessary. And he'd say, that's exactly what I would do, my friend. So his question is, when the hump game is playing, how we decide whether it's a healthy version or an unhealthy version of the game. So we will definitely talk a little bit more. But for me right now, Scott, you're absolutely on the right path. If there's tails tucked, if there's, and then there becomes a little bit of teaching the other dog how to have their own voice. So to be able to tell a dog, hey, get off me, can also be emboldening for them too. So we can talk a little bit about that. It's a great question because for me, that's all of my best dogs, Artem, I don't know if it's the same for you, have been kicked out of daycares for humping. Like they're like, oh, my dog humped. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, well, the daycare said that, this. And I'm like, okay, I'm just still waiting for the problem. What's the problem? And they're like, well, they told me that it's not good. I'm like,
so you have like humpers party, yeah?
You know how we roll in Los Angeles, boy. So that will absolutely be something we can talk more about because I think it's a huge part of dog communication that's misunderstood. And I do not claim to be an expert on this. I just have seen dogs go through the process and come out of it. And, so it's, again, this is the thing for Artem and I. We both have said this a million times to each other, and we should say it right now. Neither one of us is claiming to know everything. No, right? We know who does. And that's why we continue to follow the people that we do. We're just sharing our experiences because, let's face it,
we digest it through ourselves in our lives. That's all.
Absolutely. And if you want similar things, then you should do similar things. And if you want a fit body, if you want a fit mind, there are things that definitely help that to be that way. And, whether you do Isha Kriya meditation or Wim Hof breathing method or some Buddhist, it all is doing the same thing, which is making you transcend your body to remember that I'm not this body or this mind. I'm just my perception and an accumulation of food. It's really not me. It's our attachments to these things that cause our problems. So there's a million ways to paint, and that's what we're just trying to figure out is, sharing our journey. Because people ask us all the time. I mean, people constantly are asking me questions. I just figured, you have a lot of good information to share, and I want to add to that. So Kimberly says, your English is fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Kimberly.
So yeah, I think that's a great place to end.
My teacher from the school, I should send that video to her. She'll be proud of me. Because in school, I've been the one who said, oh, that guy will finish in a jail.
Oh, so I was trying to do something fancy, but it didn't. So I appreciate your patience, everybody. I'm still learning how to use this program. As you can see, I can make things appear and disappear and make Artem by himself and me by myself. And then
Gary spent, I'll open the secret. Gary spent yesterday night by figuring out how to actually do this.
Oh my God.
So
Artem
without this...
I had Artem up till 3 a.m. I'm going, just one more Skype.
Yeah. And I wake up with the Gary, not with my wife. Wake up, oh yeah. So you figure out how to do this.
He's like, great, now can I go work? So Yeah, so Artem, I mean, I guess you share most of your content on Instagram, and this is your Instagram right here. If you want to say it for everybody, is your name. Where do people follow you?
I've seen people already, how to say it, follow me right now.
Yeah.
While we're talking, so I guess people seeing it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I have it on. I have it on the screen. I know you can't see it.
Yeah, people seeing it. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where you.
Artem Ahmed Safin in English.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then I'm at the dog side. I go live constantly. I share Instagram stories all day long. If you have a question about something that I'm doing, send it to me because I will absolutely answer it. It does not fall on deaf ears. Teresa said my English has improved also. And I also have a newsletter where you can sign up at thedogside.com, and I send that out, not as frequently as I should because my wife is the writer in the house, but I definitely send links to YouTube videos that are private that I put out, and different places. So if you have interest in checking thedogside.com out, do so, and you might get some goodies in the newsletter. And anything else, Artem, in closing? Everything good?
Yeah, I guess for the first time we covered everything.
It worked. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And we are live, yeah.
Oh, man, we got some Russian comments, but I don't know how to read them. So you might have to go back afterwards and answer those.
Oh, let me go because.
Oh, you can see. Yeah.
Yeah. I go. Can you still see me because I'm on Facebook right now?
It paused you.
Pause it. Okay,
yeah, we can answer them later. Just
okay, I will do it after we'll finish. Yeah.
And I will go through all these comments, and I will let the computer randomly pick somebody, and I will absolutely send them some dog gear. So I will send you a message through Facebook, most likely. I'll need your address, your shirt size, and I will do that later today or tomorrow because I actually have a little bit of break in the rain, so I might run out with the dogs because they've been locked up since Monday. And I thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate this so much. Thanks. And it means the world to us to kind of share our journey with you, and hopefully we can add some insight to our experiences. So. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening and day, night, wherever you are. Bye.
Yeah, bye.